Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Gonna open up the
Gonna open the meeting.
meeting. I want to
Yeah,
welcome.
sound like you're excited.
Please stand for pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation,
Evening, everyone. I'm going to take a quick roll call. Councilmember Gully.
I am here.
Councilmember Figueroa.
Here.
Councilmember Steele. Present. Councilmember Mitt. Here. Councilmember Conley Wilson. Present. Councilmember Soriento. Here. Council President Mantello is here. We have 7 present, 0 absent. Approval of the minutes. I'll take actually we're in finance, so don't worry about that presentation. We have a few add-ons here. If anyone would like to co-sponsor, especially the one that I'm going to ask everyone to support. Maria, can you give us a copy, please? Thank you. Well, we'll pause for a moment. Thank you. Yep.
What we got started, what we want.
So I'm going to make a motion to add resolution 104 to the finance agenda. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. It's a resolution declaring November 2023 as Epilepsy Awareness Month. We passed it unanimously last year. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 104 is added to finance. So now we'll open out for the public forum. Would anyone in the audience like to speak on any ordinance or resolution? Okay, we'll close the public forum. Ordinance 74, ordinance transferring funds within the 2023 general fund and water fund budgets. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Steele. I just want to open up. Unfortunately, my agenda is Andy. Did not bear with me and did not refresh. I just want to take a second look at Andy. And trying to pull up the backup, yeah. Our lovely internet. But
I see. The transfer.
Yep, perfect. Sorry about that. All right, so we are, let's see, taking 48.5 out of contingency and putting in other materials and supplies, Andy. That's okay.
Andy. Everybody. Veto. Fire.
There. Mine are coming up. There. Andy, so it looks like, 1475, we're seeking, 48,574, sorry, 48,5. Funds, oh, this is for the public safety technology consultant, that's Steve Barker.
Correct.
Talked about the
Yes.
other guy.
That 48.5 is for EIS consultant, the assistant chief Barker talked about it.
Yeah.
Budget.
The budget meeting, do we anticipate the, RFP going out?
So they have the boilerplate RFP for them to update scope of services and what they're looking for. And it's back with Steve, once this has, hopefully it's fast, and hopefully get it out as soon as possible and have it to council for approval to put in.
Okay, and then, over in DPU, we're taking out of materials and supplies, putting into training, 50K. I take it this is for safety.
Yes.
Okay. Want to talk about that quick. I did ask, Phil Winkler, and he had said that, this is truly, truly needed, and I think some things might have been noticed at the water main break that we want to improve upon.
Yes, and in general, so I talked to Andrew Golden and Dave Badgley about this, it's something they want as well. They'll like to get somebody in to do the training as quickly as possible.
And for that training, do we have to RFP that, or is, how do we?
Possibly, we'll see if they're also available, if there's trainings available through government agencies. In the event you have to pay the government agencies to do it, or if there's piggyback opportunity or a state contract opportunity as well. They want to focus on things like OSHA test training specifically. So it'll be, I think that's where they want to start, is in those specific areas of training with live trainings, so not necessarily online trainings. Really
Yeah,
get this hopefully resolved.
yeah, I know at, the canal, they had to overhaul many of their training techniques and brought in an outside source to really beef it up. So, yeah, I saw some things too. And, thankfully, nobody's hurt, and, this is definitely needed. So I want to thank you for working with the SBA. Okay. Further questions for Andy? Discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, ordinance 74 carries 7-0, will be on the regular meeting agenda. Ordinance 75. We have $500,000 that is being added to the lead pipe replacement program. It's coming out of the water fund, and it can only be used for the public side, not the private side, correct, Andy?
Correct.
Okay. All right, how is that going to, be accounted for? Like, when they're out there working, safing, they're doing the public side also. How is that distinguished with the building and all that?
So they invoice it separately.
They do.
Well, it's allocated on the invoice. I don't want to say they don't necessarily receive different invoices, but it's broken down on the invoice, the difference between the public and the private side. It actually has to be broken down even farther for the Department of Health grants.
Right.
That's all the way down to the potholing that's going on to determine if it's public or private, that it's got to be broken down that far. So we're just going to continue to build upon that. And this leaves enough of an appropriation on the public side and the private side for 2024's program. The FAIN contract has been extended through May of 2025, which allows DPU to implement their program, and I believe they're targeting 200 replacements for the next fiscal year.
Okay. That's good. And it says the fund balance is out of 2023, but we can use that in 2024.
Yes, because we'll transfer it in 2023, and then because it's in that fund, it'll transcend fiscal years.
Okay. Anyone else have questions for Andy? Awesome, thanks to you, Dean. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 75 carries 7-0. Thanks again, Andy. Resolution 101, resolution appointing a commissioner of fees for the city of Troy, Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, we'll just cross out at the request of the administration, Council President Mantello. Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento, discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution 101 carries 7-0. Resolution 102, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with sales city on surplus real property at 5 Balsam Ave and to convey a parcel by quitclaim deed. Councilmember Gully at the request of the administration. Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson, thank you. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Steele. Rick, do you mind a couple quick questions? So this one, I had asked, how it ended up getting the here realty, listing, and Rick made that call. I would like, and I don't know, I don't think we need to legislate it, Rick. I think that would, I don't think that's necessary, but I think in the future, if something is not going to go back out to foreclosure, if somehow the council could be advised. So, because I had told a constituent, the chairman said was going to be on the foreclosure list. And I had told that constituent would be on the foreclosure list. And then somebody called me like 4 or 5 days later and said, Carmella, it's on the here listing.
I'm sorry, it had already been foreclosed upon, you probably told someone
Yeah.
to go in surplus.
Correct, I'm sorry,
The
yeah,
proposal sale, that
right,
it was the only piece of property we owned sort of like that. That was the only one that fell through the proposal sale. Did we want to heat it for the winter? Yeah, I just made the call because I thought the ordinance, or the resolution appointing here
Mhm.
supported it enough. I didn't expect it to get offers like this so quickly. The offers are very substantial. We did submit it to the property review committee, but I think, your criticism was well.
and I'm not
No.
trying to be too critical.
No,
I'm just
I'm trying to be
yeah.
transparent.
perfect, and, just because obviously things happen quick, people ask us when we're out and about, and,
Sure, you don't
Just-
want to
right,
talk about it.
and they had thought it was they were being misled on purpose, only because they were the second bidder, so it ended up being a bigger problem and transparency than, then obviously you didn't create, you didn't want that to happen. So in the future, if the council could just be a province, that would be perfect. To get back to the property, maybe Councilmember Gully or Figueroa could talk about the property review committee, how many bids came in. And in the future, I do think the council should see the bids that came in.
All three are attached.
They are attached, perfect. Normally Sharon will send them before the property review committee meets, just, so yes, she sends them, so if you could tell Sharon.
All three are attached.
Yep, so wanna talk about Councilmember Gully, do you mind?
I think it was a great move, and I think it was a smart move, because it was a beautiful piece of property that was undervalued in our auction. And it was unfortunate that the bidder backed out, because she would have had a heck of a piece of property. That amount of money, and then I was very surprised and taken back by the bids that we received. It just goes to show the quality of work that the Here Group does in our city of Troy, with their reputation and their knowledge. And speaking for the taxpayers, we need to do more of this to make sure that we're getting a return on that value and time for having to, it's unfortunate when somebody loses a house. Nobody wants to see anybody lose a piece of property. But when it happens, if we have to look out for our best interest for the 51,000 people that we serve. So I think it was a great deal and I'd like to see more of it. I think that we should have more inspection of these properties before they go up on the list so that we know what we have instead of just making assumptions. And I hope that it's part of our practice in the future.
Thanks, Councilmember Gully. I guess a couple questions, and I agree, I wasn't questioning here putting it out. One, you know, if it was such a good piece of property, it should go on a separate listing. I have no problem with that. Some folks have been saying that work was done on the house. You know, after, the city, offered the bid. I honestly, I don't know if that's true, not true.
Not aware of any substantial work at all.
Okay, thank you. That's
I
right.
would say that I don't know everything, but I think I would have heard. Substantial work of the sort.
Okay, so that was mentioned to me, I just have to fully disclose it for the public. So that's good, that no substantial work was done, and, you know, I guess if it was such a good piece of property, in the future, if we could look at these properties and, you know, separate them out, so we are doing the right thing, because, you know, I mean, what's your feelings on it, right?
Well, I think that we would probably do better by putting in properties that have some residential market value on MLS, such as this one. I think there was a property on Second Avenue that was sold for around $70,000 on a proposal. That might have brought a lot more, having been listed in the picture. I'm not aware of all the properties that we take in terms of their condition or value, but, I think it would be better for the city overall if we were able to sever some of them and be more marketable, more attractive to investors.
And compared to the other two bids, why did this bid stand out? That was what I was asking the property review committee.
Want me to answer that?
Yeah. Thank
It was one of the top bids, and the person who won the bid had a long history of creating great properties in the city of Troy. It's not their first, it's not their 10th, but it's a great piece of property. Their work shows that they can help do it. And I think it's a better, they look to be the better buyer of the three bids that we had.
Yep, Councilmember Min.
So Rick. Yeah, I read the legislation and it did seem like it had that wiggle room for discretion to add other properties. I think it would be helpful for us to have a pretty frank conversation. We're gonna continue to use realtors, and I think bringing in a higher price to refund the taxpayers, that's a good thing. But what's the tipping point for the criteria? Is it assessed property value? Is it, you know, that it's a turnkey, you know, that I think that what's that tipping point? Because like I said in our hearings, you know, our foreclosure process is a way for people to become first-time homeowners. And I know that we tend to want to prioritize it being owner-occupied, if possible. And when you start using a realtor, that type of criteria may not be able to be considered. You know, because then you start getting into questions of like, you know, housing discrimination and those kinds of questions. So the things that council can consider may be different than what the a realtor could consider. And one of the other concerns that was raised by a constituent was that they just stopped doing showings. There were still some people that were interested. And so what's the criteria for how long the realtor is showing it? And, you know, because the city as the seller have to consider all offers, realtors have to bring us all offers, even if it's $1. And so I think like if we're gonna continue using a realtor for some of our properties, and they need to bring in more money. Those are some of the details that have to be publicly disclosed as part of our foreclosure process. And then, because there is some distrust in this process, and I've heard that from, from a lot of different people, especially, I think what we said in our hearings was, it's not, you don't need to give the justification to the person that wins the bid, you need to give the justification and explain reasoning to the people who lose. Because it's a tight, still a tight market, and this is a gateway into building intergenerational wealth. So, I don't know, was here able to articulate why they did not continue to show the property?
I don't know that that's a fact, that he stopped the showings. I know that when he got an offer for 200,000, I'm not sure who the first offer was, but he ended up with 2. He told all other realtors who were, buyers representatives that, he wanted their highest and best offers. That's all I know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that he stopped all showings. That's possible. I'm not saying yes or no. I think the criteria you raise are important. Public should have confidence in this. One thing perhaps before we list, these types of properties in the future, the property review committee, which, tends to look at both the proposals that are made, could look at the properties themselves and sort of select the ones that should go to the realtor because they have a chance of realizing more value for the taxpayers before the estate or realtor.
Yeah, and I do think that the assessor's office, really does have a lot of expertise in property values in Troy and is very attuned to what's going on in the market. And so I think, Sharon's expertise can help.
Sharon's part of the
Yeah.
property review committee, 2 council members are part of the property review committee, deputy mayor, code engineer. I'm not sure if you're not. I'm not.
Yeah. And I think, part of the other factor, and it's obviously it's not an issue with this bid, but, if we're selling it in the market, and pulling it off of that, the property review and through selling it, deciding through the council, that same criteria of no code violations, no back taxes for any of the purchasers' properties should probably also still be in place. So that's not a loophole that people can use to get around and still continue to acquire the property, that the city owns. So I think that levels that playing field a
I
little.
would say though that if the property is listed with a realtor, this usually the price will end up being much better than what we get for a proposal, because for a proposal, we are looking much more at the idea of somehow allowing people into home ownership, getting better neighborhoods, things like that. Whereas we're getting those criteria are not irrelevant when you list with the realtor, but with the realtor, you're looking at the best offer.
And, as mentioned, Councilmember Gully, I did just ask him the same criteria, correct, as you.
Yeah, we still look to see if the buyer is in Troy, owes any property taxes, owes it, has any debt to the city. There was none there. Council President,
Sure.
I continue. I just think, and I know you say maybe the property review board should go look at the properties, but we know nothing about properties. I think we have a good hands when we send a professional like Peer Realty or somebody that can look at electric and look at the stabilization of the property and the real, the pieces that really matter. And then have them report to us. I think that would be, a time conscious move for the committee and the property moving along. But I think that all properties that we get should be looked at through the realtor first and let them help guide us because they have the experience and the knowledge along with Sharon, our assessor. I think that we have to rely on other people's knowledge in their field rather than try to gain that knowledge ourselves. So I'd be much more confident having a professional look at the properties before we put out the list and say, hey, okay, these properties, we can move forward, and these properties we can open up to, a list. And I think that we have to find a way to do that, because you really feel bad when we can't accomplish our goal for some of the bidders, because we have fiduciary duty to protect the taxpayers. And there's that middle ground that we faced that was kind of uncomfortable, because it brought us to a new area. But I think that it was the right thing to do, and I think that we should look at a way to put that in process in the future, with the next property committee,
And we also
the next
have,
council.
we also have our facilities team.
Yeah.
Look at these properties in order to secure them,
Yeah.
things like that. So I mean, they also get a hands-on look at the property.
Council President.
Yep, Councilmember Man.
And this is just sort of one more factor, the fact that this property, in approving the sale through our foreclosure property, we are asking for a lot of financial information. And I think maybe we should look more closely at, if the financing for this fell through, I understand, for the original bid that the council approved. And so, looking at the source of financing, for purchase, so that there aren't any contingencies. Obviously, cash is king. You're gonna get your money. And then, second to that is bank financing, where there could be contingencies, because part of the goal is to reduce the city's holding costs. So that, we're not worried about, someone breaking into the building, catching it on fire, and then having that liability. And so, I think as we sort through the criteria, for the property committee, as they make recommendations, putting that weight on a cash offer as opposed to a bank financed offer, I know it's more challenging for people, but it's also one of those things that reduces the risk for us as the seller of the property.
Very few applicants will get bank financing.
And of course,
We only deed by quick claim, make no warranties as title. So until 2 years have passed since the day that we ran, the in-rent process itself is challenging. There's a 2-year statute of limitations. This offer is all cash.
Okay, the second, the bidder who, contacted me, walked in late, and I just wanted to just be open here and fully disclose. I did ask, who made the call? Rick made the call, the decision to put it on the listings with here. In the future, the council will be apprised should that happen again. Because obviously we encounter and we meet people every day, and folks are asking us, so, that information needs to be informed with the council. And then the property review committee, we need to also be included on the proposals, just like any other. We weren't, when the property review committee met, normally Sharon will include us on the proposal. We weren't, so we were in the dark until, it came forward. And then there was another question, was work done prior to this? Rick has no knowledge of substantial work being done prior to the sale. And I think my third question, you walked in on the entry. And the answer to the entry to the building, Rick, was we're,
You mean, showings?
yeah,
I don't know that showings were shut off, but possible they were, I don't know. I know that once the $200,000 offer came in, Mr. Here told me that he sent word out to all participating brokers through MLS that they needed to solicit their highest and best offer. I don't know whether anything official.
Rick, I'm gonna ask you if you don't mind sitting down, and since these folks missed the public portion, if you want to come out before we vote and speak, I have no problem with it. Thanks, Rick. And if you could just state your name, and you don't have to give your specific address, just in general, Troy, or perfect, thanks. Oh, the bottom, sorry, you can pull it down right down. And then at the bottom, you have to turn down. Maria, could you help Maria? Maria. I think it's on. There you go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Maria Pelicano, and I live in the city of Troy. I'm here this evening because, you know, my husband and I, put in a bid for 5 Folsom. Actually, I was here last year, when we first found out that, someone else actually, won the proposal. And so I came to speak at one of the council meetings. And just over the summer, I just want to tell you the story quickly.
Yeah.
Over the summer, I had been here paying a bill, and I saw Sharon, and she said to me, "Hey, you know, I just want to let you know the person who was awarded the property never came back. So it's my understanding that it's going to go back on the list." So that's kind of how I learned that 5 Balsam was not purchased. So, you know, my question was, how come, you know, the other people who bid it on the property, why weren't we notified? What's the process? And then, my husband did, you know, we saw that it was posted on the MLS. And, you know, he did approach, Dean. This was actually on October 24th. And, we were told that, you know, he wasn't showing it any longer. So, you know, it seems like some things are unfair, with this whole process. And I just wanted you to be aware that, you know, it didn't feel right. And, you know, I did consult, multiple members of this committee, because we were concerned of how the whole process unfolded. So I just think it was unfair how it all happened. And we weren't, again, offered the opportunity to even see the property. We placed the bid, like it was on the list. We put in our proposal. We didn't get to see the property, just like everyone else who didn't get to see the property, who put in that proposal. And then it went on the MLS, and then there was other people, who actually had the opportunity to see the property, and we did it. You have questions?
If anyone would like to ask Maria,
I
yes,
would like to respond.
Councilmember Gully.
Sure.
Property, we were notified on the 23rd, whatever that Monday was, because we met on the 27th for the property review committee. But we were notified at that time, earlier in that week, that there was 3 proposals on that property that we were going to be addressing. Maybe that's a reason because the contracts had already come over to the city. Maybe they felt that, I don't know why they didn't show, but at that time we had 3 proposals in front of us. And we met on the 27th in the morning at 9 a.m. And we were notified before the 24th that we would have this meeting. So maybe that's a reason why it stopped showings at the time. I don't know the answer. I'm just trying to be realistic about why it could have happened. As far as communication, the council wasn't really communicated with either. So I understand that frustration. And I've spoke about this both with the corporate counsel and the assessor, that we have to do better at relaying our information, so we're all working on the same page. And we're not working on different areas here on the same project. So it's unfortunate that it occurred the way it did, but I have to be honest also that this was an eye opener to realize that sometimes we have to look at the value of these properties a little differently before we put them on that list. So that being said, I feel bad that it happened the way it did. Of course, nobody likes to see these situations occur, but we met on the 27th at 9 a.m. We were told about the meeting at the beginning of the week, so before the 24th. That could be one of the reasons why they stopped showing me, because the proposals were already on the city doorstep. I don't know, because we didn't know about it until we got the notice that that was the direction it was going. But I do agree that, I have to agree, and I feel bad about saying this, but I do have to agree that I think that was a good move on our part, and maybe just a lesson learned that we have to move in that direction a little more with some of the properties that we do get back on foreclosure. Nothing against anybody personally or anything, just generally, these properties, when we take them back, do become part of the public asset, and we have to do the best we can to recoup whatever we can for the, the people that we serve. So, like I said, I feel bad, but it is what it is, and, I'm just trying to give you a reason why maybe you can get that shown in the 24th, because we were notified of the meeting for that, so I just want to try to clear that up.
Rick, on the listing, did it have a closing period of the bid? Because normally, bids close October 22nd, was there a deadline for the bid? Or per offer? Thank you.
I don't think it did, I'm not sure. To the best of my recollection, I don't recall seeing, I think we listed it at 189. And then when we got the offers that were over and above that, the inclination then was, well, close it up. And I think Councilman Gully might be right, that once we had the three offers, all of which were 189 and 200s, once those were finalized, we hadn't received any other offers that we notified the property review committee. We need to should look at these.
Maria, did you want to add anything before we go to a vote? Sure. Thank you. You can call it right now.
So about a month or so ago, we actually just heard that here actually, let a family friend know that this property was actually going on, this list to be sold. And we just heard about it. So, so I think there's a lot of misinformation. I just, again, feel that it's unfair. My husband and I bid on multiple properties and we haven't gotten one yet. And financing is not an issue for us. So it's very unfair.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Did council want to ask any further questions, discussion? I'm gonna take a slow roll. Councilmember Gully.
Yeah.
Councilmember Figueroa. Councilmember Steele. Aye. Councilmember Mann.
No, and in part because if this is a new process that we're gonna use that brings better value for more money back into the city, then we have to have this process be completely transparent and fair. And if that means, this offer is still good for another week and a half, and if that means opening it up and seeing if there are any other offers that come in above it, think that, that this is part of the learning curve. Our first time doesn't have to be perfect, but let's use this as an opportunity to correct the process now.
Councilmember Conley Wilson.
I'm also going to vote no on this. I don't think that we really laid out this process, and I'm still a little bit confused as to what I understand that Rick made the decision to put this on this list. I just feel a little bit uncomfortable given the facts that we've had this process, we followed it, it hasn't been laid out. And I do think the public deserves an opportunity to understand the whole process, and, I just don't agree with the way that's come about.
Councilmember Soriento.
I'm also gonna vote no. I mean, the money and everything, it looks great, but what I'm showing here was that there was a lack of transparency. There wasn't a solid process, of this new process rolled out. And, I think that a lot of people, including council members, were blindsided, and I believe that, that there wasn't any type of fair treatment given, any type of transparency, and so, I'm definitely voting no.
And it comes to me, so you must know I should have told you my feelings prior. I was going to suggest you table this, so it wasn't shut down. But I can't vote for it. I think Mike Flynn, the person, has absolutely nothing to do with, the proposal. He's solid. I think it's unfortunate how this unfolded. I am literally telling constituents that it's going back on the surplus list, and it's on this listing with our realtor that we hired. So just I would look very hypocritical. We continuously talk about transparency, about process, and so saying that I can't support it. However, before I do my vote, I would be willing to make a motion to table it if we want to table it rather than shoot it down. However, I'm a no if you don't want to table it. So I am offering a table. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna go down. So, you know, I do think we have to lay out a process that is fair. So I'm gonna vote no. It goes down 4-3. Okay, all right, okay, I will make a motion to table. I'll retract my vote, and I will make a motion to table. And, you know, we need to be more open if it's not gonna go on a surplus list and go on a listing. And, you know, folks obviously should all have a fair shot. So I'll make a motion to table.
Council President, I'll second that motion with explanation.
Perfect.
I do think you're right, communication was very weak. We were trailed along in this, but I do feel that this is the best interest of the taxpayer, and I don't want to see this go down, so I think we should table it so we can clear this up and find a direction for the future properties that come along, and not take this one out of the picture, because it's a very attractive offer for this property choice. I will second the motion to table, and I hope the council members will give us the time to figure that out.
Thank you, Councilmember Gully. I do agree on all fronts other than the process and the transparency and the communication on this project. So we have a motion, we have a second, further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 7-0 is table. All right, so resolution 102 table, resolution 103. And thank you so much for coming this evening, Chief. I wasn't sure if you were coming or not. Resolution commending Fire Chief Eric McMahon for honorable and distinguished service to the city of Troy. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Conley Wilson and Councilmember Figueroa. If we'd like to wait for the regular meeting, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution 103 carries 7-0. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, resolution 104, silly. Resolution to proclaim November 2023 as Epilepsy Awareness Month. Council President Mantello, is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Mann and Councilmember Soriento. I'll wait for the regular meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution 104 carries 7-0. Thank you, council. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Finance meeting's closed. We have 15 minutes for the regular meeting. Thank you. Their meeting, no Councilmember Men's working her way back. Men at work, come on. Men cat at work. Men cat at work. We don't need, I'll just, yeah, you don't have to sign in, you could just come up when I call the public forum. Okay, if everyone could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I'll ask Councilmember Figueroa, sorry about that, please say the pledge. Pledge to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Maria, if you could take the roll.
Councilmember Gully,
Here.
Councilmember Figueroa.
Here.
Councilmember Steele.
Present.
Councilmember Mann. Councilmember Conley Wilson. Present. Councilmember Sorienko.
Here.
Council President Mattello.
I am here.
All present.
Thank you. Earlier this evening, we did add some resolutions and ordinances to the regular meeting, just for folks out there. Resolution 102, which was on finance, is tabled and will not be added. So if you look at the agenda, 102 is tabled, you can take that off. There will be further discussion. All right, I'll open up. We have a vacancy list, Maria, correct, at the end of the agenda, if folks want to look at that. While they're looking at that, we'll open out to the public. Would anyone like to speak on any item on the agenda related to the agenda? And I know Seamus will get the podium now. Thank you. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, good. You can pull it right up. Awesome.
Or I would walk over there, feedback.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we fixed that, so I think
Oh.
we're okay.
All right. Should I freestyle rap or just talk about something? No, I can't. Oh, my goodness, okay. First of all,
Your name?
my name is Daniel Kelly. Thank
Daniel,
you
Do
to the-
you live in Troy or
I do.
Capital Region? Thank
I
you.
do,
Thank you.
I live in Troy.
Thank
First of all, thank you to the council members for your service to this great city of ours, this wonderful place that I love very much and call home. Without your service to the city, I imagine it wouldn't be such a wonderful place to live and have a small business. And I've talked to some of the council members personally, and I know that it's not always super satisfying with it. So I'm grateful for the council for being here in our service to the citizens of Troy. That being said, I'm here to ask the council for some.
Okay.
Some of you know who I am already. I'm a small business owner here in Troy. I've had a small business here in Troy for 11 years now. With its various ups and downs. Some of you also know some of my history. I came to Troy from a strange road. I was orphaned at birth and then went through a weird adoption foster system, and then as a result of that ended up in a lot of trouble. I did some bank robberies, state of Connecticut in the 90s, went to prison for a really long time. And then I came home and landed in Troy. Wanted to get my life back together. Fell in love with this city. I learned to be involved in creativity while I was incarcerated, so I wanted to do something that's creative, and a lot of you know my work that I've been doing amazing creative things here in the city of Troy, like getting driftwood from our local waterways and making beautiful structures that people get married. I just came from installing one in somebody's backyard where they got married underneath it, and now it's permanently installed in their backyard. So I've effectively gotten my life together. I take the bones of old buildings, and I build dining room tables for local businesses, Valiant Ventures and other companies that have bootleggers, have tables that I've built from scratch with my own hands. So I've effectively become a functioning member of society. I noticed along the way while I was here in Troy as a small business that
a lot of people that weren't Troy residents were buying up Troy. Troy was ripe for the picking, as they say, real estate wise. A lot of people from the city who weren't looking to live here, but buy things and rent, which is okay. We need that too. We need places for people to live. Emily's been someone who provides housing for people for many, many years. But I thought, like, man, I'm not gonna be able to have something of my own. And thanks to the grace of the council and the programs that they have, I was able to like scratch together enough nuts to buy us a house from the city. And then the assessor reached out to me and said, hey, the one right next door to you, and when I say next door, I mean like, I'm touching both structures. And I don't have to extend my arms all the way. And I say, well, sure, it's like in rough shape, I don't know if I can handle it. If it's not too much, then I'll get it. So they gave it to me for a very low cost. You know, they considered my proposal. All this happened towards the tail end of 2019. It all was finished up and I had some money saved and had all these ideas and plans and it was gonna be great. And then double 20s. And the world came apart at the seams. Global upheaval, all the way right down to in our own city upheaval, you know, and everybody thought that it could be the end of the world. At least that's how it felt. Just prior to that, January 11th, 2020, before COVID, before global protests and political upheaval, the likes we've never seen since the 60s, I was in a very bad car accident. I was traveling through a solid green light to go pick up my son, and I was T-boned by another car that flew right through a solid red light. Hurt my brain very badly. Couldn't remember what happened for weeks at a time. Couldn't get out of like this crushing depression and confusion, and my life took a downward spiral on the way to COVID. So we got through it. We pulled together as a community. We got through COVID. We got through all of the businesses downtown being boarded up because they were afraid that they would be smashed in because of a violent riot. Like we got through all of that together as a community. I was under the impression that I would get through the car accident, like everything would be fine. Unfortunately, the car accident was with a police officer. And the police always have the right of way. Even when they don't, they do. So like if Emily, if my car accident was with you, if you were looking at your phone and went through a solid red light and T-boned me, I would be taken care of. Your insurance company would call the cost of my car, any work that I missed tons of work. Like my life really like fell apart. Because it was with a municipality, you got nothing coming, is basically what they said. I get it. I get it. The service people, the ambulances and the police, they need to be able to act with impunity to some degree, right? My problem now is that I haven't fully recovered financially, mostly since all of these things happened. And I think that the severity of the impact of things on you are what dictates the length of time that it takes you to recover. So a lot of, especially financially, money that I thought that I was going to put into some of these structures is gone. I just don't have it, you know. Now I find myself wrestling with the planning board to just approve. All I'm looking for is help with approving a vacant building to be waived. I have the waiver in place. I asked for the waiver. I filled out the paperwork. I was told by the board that all I have to do is be proactive. That's exactly what I was told, is be proactive. And I said, what does that mean? They said, well, go to find an architectural company. I said, okay, TAP, this is great. They do tons of great stuff for the city. I have friends with Barb Nelson, friends with, hey, can you guys help me out? They said, sure. $2,000 later, they gave me some drawings. I got the drawings, I gave them to the code. Code told me, hey, it could be a while. Be patient and we'll get the things. I said, hey, no problem. I'm hard pressed to understand how I'm going to have the finances, but I'm going to figure it out how to do the work. But like, let's get going. Now I'm being told by the planning board that no, you have to have permit in hand or we refuse to approve your waiver. And I said, that's not what you told me before. You told me proactive is what you needed. Getting drawings, submitting drawings, that's proactive. Now, all of a sudden changing it so that it depends on having the permit seems arbitrary and also like something that's out of my control. I can't make them give me the permit, like I have to wait till they approve the drawings, and they have a lot going on. So I'm here just at the mercy of the council, so maybe somebody can speak to the board in my behalf to say, hey, man, you know, this guy. He's been around the city for a while, he's not living in Jersey. Sitting on a property, waiting for that property value to go up so he can flip it. He lives here in this city. He's had a small business in the city for over a decade. Can we do something to find a way to prove his vacant building fee waiver so that I'm up to 2,500? That's 2,500 that I can't use to buy supplies to fix the structure. It's almost counterproductive at this point. So that's my spiel. Thank you so much for listening. Again, thank you all, every council member, for your service to the city, and that's all I got.
Daniel, couple of quick things. When did you apply to planning? Do you have that date?
I
And-
don't have the date that I was submitted, but I put it in, it was due for this year in October, but I put it in at the beginning of the year, so I was months and months and months before the deadline, and I already have my waiver forms submitted for next year too, to be ahead of it. So I'm really trying my
Yeah.
very best to
Daniel, who did you talk to in code? Do you know?
say it again.
In code, have you been talking?
Bill Morrissey was one of the people that I dealt with
Okay.
at one point about making sure that, like some of the stuff that had like been removed out of the basement to like make so that the architects could come in and look was like in a pile in the front. They said you gotta, and I had a little fence blocking it so that it didn't look too unsightly, but they said you can't have any debris. So I cleaned up all the debris immediately.
Yeah.
I secured, the building is all secured, screwed shut, so, and I live right there. So it's not just a danger to anyone. I have a fence around the whole property, so it's not like kids can go in and like mess with it, like
Yeah.
it's safe and I'm on top of it. It's just, I can't afford to fix it and pay these
I
exorbitant
get it.
fees. And I understand the purpose of a vacant fee, you know.
I get it. Daniel, we're gonna look into this, first thing in the morning. Can you give us the correct spelling of your last name?
Yep, it's Killion and the.
And I do follow you on Instagram. Your work's amazing. It
Thank you
really
so
is.
much. Oh, I appreciate
It's
it.
amazing. And who have you been communicating with in planning?
Eric Farrar.
Good. Okay.
And the
And
property location is 17 South River Street.
perfect. And Daniel, can you give Maria or Seamus your email
Sure,
and a best number to get back to you?
sure. I'll
Okay,
write it down.
we're gonna follow up, and
Thank
if
you.
council members have any additional questions. Okay, awesome, Daniel. We'll follow up and hopefully we can get this straight. out. Okay,
Council President,
council member Min.
just for members of council and public, Daniel also has a great book, which talks about starting a small business and everything else. So, okay.
Thank you for the book
Awesome.
club.
Daniel, thank you. We'll figure this out for you, okay? And follow up. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Is it? Okay, cool.
I read it in.
Oh, nice. Okay. Is Amazon at it?
His store has it.
Oh,
You buy it.
okay. All right, there you go. Daniel, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you again. Keep up the good work. All right. Yeah. Would anyone else like to speak to the council, during the public forum? Okay, agenda items? Okay, we'll get through this. All right, we're gonna move ordinance 70. Ordinance amending the 2023 general fund and miscellaneous special revenue fund budgets to appropriate additional funding from the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for Police Traffic Services. Council President Mantel, the request of the breakdown. It's their motion. So moved. Motion, Councilmember Seaman, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Gully, and just so folks know, all of these have been discussed at length in Finance Committee, so just to give you a heads up. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 70 passes.
Ordinance 71.
Ordinance 71, ordinance amending the 2023 miscellaneous special revenue fund budget to appropriate additional funding to the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for the Child Passenger Safety Program. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Soriento, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Steele, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 71 passes.
Ordinance 72.
Ordinance 72, ordinance amending the general fund, general fund, garbage fund, and water fund budgets. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Steele, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 72 passes.
Ordinance 73.
Ordinance 73, ordinance authorizing settlement of claim to at Albany Med Health System, Albany Medical Center, plaintiff versus the City of Troy and Troy Fire Department defendants, Ontario County Supreme Court case index number EF 2021-268511. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? So moved. Motion, Councilmember Steele, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Mann, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 73 passes.
Ordinance 74.
Ordinance 74, ordinance transferring funds within the 2023 general fund and water fund budgets. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Mann, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Steele, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 74 passes.
Ordinance 75.
Ordinance 75, ordinance authorizing the city comptroller to transfer monies from the assigned unappropriated fund balance of the water fund to the 2023 water fund budget and the capital projects fund for the replacement of lead service lines. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? So moved. Motion, Councilmember Steele, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento, and I just want to, thank my colleagues. We really come around full circle with the lead replacement program. Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, ordinance 75 passes.
Resolution 100.
Resolution 100, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Capital Region Transportation Council for the development of a regional vision zero safety action plan. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Mann, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, resolution 100 passes.
Resolution 101. You could take out at the request. But,
Yeah, no, it was, here's just.
thank you.
Resolution appointing a commissioner of peace for the city of Troy. Council President Mantel.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 no's, resolution 101 passes.
Resolution 102 table, resolution 103.
Resolution 103, resolution commending Fire Chief Eric McMahon for honorable and distinguished service to the city of Troy. Council President Mantel, at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? Everybody, is there a second? Second, everybody.
President,
Yes,
could we,
Councilmember.
join you as sponsors of this?
Absolutely, yes, please. I would encourage everyone, I'm sure everyone wants to. So resolution 103, we are going to ask Eric McMahon to please come up, and if the council could join me, please. Paper.
Got it.
The mayor? Frank, is the mayor here?
Get in the hall.
Great.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, can you join us?
Appreciate everything.
You won't even notice that I was, you know what I mean? These guys are.
Hello, Mayor. Come join us, please. Please. Just for folks out there, this is, bittersweet. Chief McMahon has served, decades here in the city of Troy, 34 years, rising up the ranks. And, we're here tonight to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As Councilmember Gully only gives me 3 or 4 thank yous a night. I have 2 more and he'll win the pool, but, it's bittersweet, and we're so happy for you, Chief, that you're moving on to greener and greater pastures, a new chapter in your life. But certainly a huge loss to the city of Troy. And the chief has a walkout tomorrow. We encourage the public and anyone out there who would like to join us at 2 o'clock, I believe, right? So I'm going to read this resolution. And this is at the request of the administration, so it is hand in hand with the mayor. And we have, whereas Fire Chief Eric McMahon has faithfully served the City of Troy Fire Department for over 34 years, rising steadily through all ranks, first as a firefighter from September 19, 1989, then as fire lieutenant in October of 1995, then as fire captain from November 2003. Eric Wisher, can you join us too? I apologize, please.
This is his day.
Oh, well, it's fine. Okay, cool. Then as battalion fire chief from July of 2010, then as deputy fire chief 2011, then as assistant fire chief 2016, and finally as chief of the fire department March of 2019 through November of 2023. And whereas in the course of his long service, Chief McMahon has consistently promoted and instituted policies, protocols, and procedures dedicated to the single-minded purpose of protecting public safety and the well-being of city's residents, while at the same time guarding, to the extent feasible, the health and safety of members of the fire service through extensive training, better equipment, and improved quarters. And whereas on the 3rd day of November, tomorrow, Chief McMahon will be leaving his position as chief of the city's fire department to pursue new challenges in the fields of fire protection, safety, and risk management. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Troy City Council does hereby pause in its deliberations to honor and commend Chief McMahon for his 34 years of faithful and outstanding service, his painstaking and responsible management of the city's fire service, his exemplary leadership of the men and women of his department, and the ever sound, thorough, and knowledgeable advice he has given to the administration and the city council. We thank you for all those years, all rendered with the highest integrity and the best interest of the residents of the city of Troy. And be it further resolved that the clerk shall transmit a presentation of the resolution to Chief McMahon. Chief McMahon, we want to thank you for your service. We want to thank you for your leadership. I am certain that all of the firefighters who have served under you, both present, active, and retired, are in great, great gratitude. We thank you so much from the City Council. We wish you all the best in your next endeavors, and thank you again, Chief. Thank you.
So, Chief, I just want to say, it's been a pleasure working with you. Chief McMahon is a firefighter's firefighter. He has taught me a lot. I can't think of substantive thing we ever disagreed on because I always listened to what you had to say. I always felt that we were in good hands. When I would go out on my back deck and smell smoke in the air, I knew within 10 or 15 seconds, I'd be getting a call from you. And I felt comfortable at every scene that I was ever at, that well managed people were there. So on behalf of the citizens of Troy, I thank you for everything you've given the city. Your role here has never been about your advancement. It's always been about protecting the city and its residents. You come from a great family of service, your father, your brother, your nephew, there may be others I'm not even aware of, who have all served the city nobly and with great honor. So it's not surprising that you did the same. So on behalf of the citizens of Troy, I thank you for your service and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any other council member?
Again, I can echo everyone. Thank you so much for your service. It's been, not only your job title, just your commitment to the community. When I always call you and have my youth students, he's never hesitated, hey, text my phone, he'll come out, speak to the young people. So not only your job that you took serious, but you took serious the community and the amount of work that you've given to the community. And you're just genuine in what you do, it's not like somebody, hey, call my office and then leave a message. No, here's my phone number, text me if you need anything. And I really appreciate you for everything you do for the community. You always be here with us, no matter what. And good luck in your journey. Thank you for everything.
We appreciate you. Please mind to the community.
I have to say that I'm completely humbled by this whole entire thing. I am supported by the mayor and his administration, everybody that I've ever reached out to if I have any question about buying something or financing something or hiring something or hiring someone. The Corporation Council has been there with me multiple times on any questions that I had. This city council, in particular, anytime that we needed any type of support, everybody here on the city council has rallied around us and supported us and helped us out. And I just feel so absolutely just supported from the administration and the city council. Most importantly, the firefighters and the fire officers that are down on the street, I'm taking accolades for the amount of work and everything that they do. I can't say enough good stuff about these guys. Every single day they go out there and they support the community. They answer calls down to the 911 center. If it's not a police department issue, they take a look and they're really not sure where to send this call. They send it to the fire department, and these guys, they go out there and they figure it out each and every single day. So I'm taking accolades for stuff that is completely like a community support between the administration, the city council, the guys down on the street. It's humbling to me because I feel as though I'm kind of undeserving for all of this accolades. And these guys here, they truly deserve the support. That anything that you can do for these guys, keep their equipment up, keep them safe, keep their quarters up, and that's all I've ever asked for. And that's every time I've asked for anything like that, you guys have come through. So thank you very much, and thank you to the firefighters and the fire officers that have stayed.
Well, we heard a lot of thank you for the chief for his service. I want to thank his wife Linda for the sacrifices she's made over 34 years. Because when you're a firefighter, you don't live by a schedule, you live by demand. And I'm sure that it's got even more hectic as you moved up the ranks. So you hung in there like a trooper, Linda. Now you got them. Gonna do those dishes and take out the garbage. All right, that's all I gotta say. Chief, you know how I feel. I ain't gotta say no more, but you know it.
Thank you, Chief. And, just when I think of the chief, I think of a Troy boy. You're from Troy, you're for Troy, graduated Troy High. You're just all about Troy, and you're not leaving Troy. So we're going to tap into you, Chief. You might be leaving city service. You're not leaving Troy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Linda. All right, last but not least, resolution 104. Oh, I'm sorry, on Chief McMahon, we do have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 104.
November 2023 is Epilepsy Awareness Month. Council President Mandela.
This is a short reso, so please, indulge. Whereas epilepsy is an incurable brain disorder that causes afflicted persons to have recurring seizures, and whereas epilepsy is the third most common neurological disorder, and whereas 1 in 26 people in the United States will develop epilepsy in his or her lifetime due to abnormal brain development, illness, brain injury, or unknown causes. And whereas widespread lack of understanding and knowledge of epilepsy often causes people, particularly children, to fear, isolate, tease, and even bully their peers who are afflicted with epilepsy or other seizure disorders. And whereas the city of Troy desires to join the global, national, state, and local effort to increase epilepsy awareness, to educate Troy residents about epilepsy, and to lend support to people with epilepsy and their families in order to improve their quality of life. Now therefore be it resolved, the Troy State Council does hereby proclaim November 2023 as Epilepsy Awareness Month in the city of Troy. And just on a personal note, 6 months after our son was born, James, he had a seizure. I didn't know what it was, and now we are. Fast forward, 21 years old, and James can have 5 in one day. He can have none for a couple days. He's on 4 meds, but this certainly is something near and dear to my heart, and we have made it a priority of ours to continue just informing folks what epilepsy is about. A lot of folks don't know. And they're still using some of the same meds, the same procedures that they used 40, 50 years ago, which is very sad. But saying that, we'll continue raising awareness for this just horrible neurological disorder. And I encourage any Troy residents out there to continue to do so also. So thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
790 noes, resolution 104 passes. Thank you.
Councilmember Venn, so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm a person with epilepsy. I developed epilepsy from brain disease, and I just want to let people out there know, you can do anything you want and still have epilepsy. And if you have a family member or a friend, please get educated about how to safely respond to a seizure, and have some understanding. Seizures are not always on the ground twitching. Sometimes it's you're just completely spaced out. Sometimes your body is almost like hallucinating, whether it's a smell or a sound that no one else can hear. But I really appreciate that this city council does recognize Epilepsy Awareness Month. It's kind of one of those things that's often an invisible disability, and you don't always have a way of curing it. It can be managed with medication or surgery, but you never know when a seizure could come. And so the support from friends, families, coworkers, bosses, it makes a big difference. And it allows people who do have this invisible disability to thrive. And so I wanted to say thank you again to my colleagues for being such strong supporters of Epilepsy Awareness Month. It means a lot, it really does.
Thank you, Councilmember Mann. Thank you, council colleagues. We'll now open up for the final public forum. This is about what's going on in your neighborhood, on your block. Feel free to come up. You have a few minutes. Please state your name and general. Well, WD-40 maybe, olive oil. Hey, Kevin.
Hello, good evening. My name is Pat Young. I live at 391 9th Street, 27 years now. Before I get going on mine, I'd like to ask you, at the bottom of my hill on Middleburg and Sixth, there's temporary, stoplight, red light. There's been a tremendous amount of accidents due to these. Why are we paying the rent if it's cheaper to fix the light? Now, I'm just, a businessman, so I'm curious. We're renting 4 signs instead of fixing the light. So, all right.
They ordered the equipment, believe me, all of us. Yeah,
There's just no.
we agree.
no here.
We agree.
I don't want somebody to get killed at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
We all know Blake.
We agree.
We all know that.
Hello,
Okay.
if we cannot talk from the audience, all right?
All right, we feel a little better.
And I just want to know,
We do own those lights, we're not renting those.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I just wanted to let you know.
That
And
makes
then,
me feel better. Not that it's better crash.
no, we totally understand that. Last week, we
I know I've been
had,
here a few times.
Yeah.
We got this trip.
we're not happy about it either, and they're on no wonder.
Now, I'd like to speak to you again about my wall. You're my councilman, I think, right? You remember I came here 3 months ago, because I keep getting out of work and I miss you all the time. So about 3 months ago, I was here. You remember me? I was going by my house.
I actually, well, we can.
Yeah, we'll talk after.
We.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that. We'll talk after.
Ken, it's
Right
your
here.
floor, so please keep talking.
I don't think you have a plan, because nobody's got a hold of me. I know assuming is bad, but then you're not coming to me. I gave you my card 2 months ago. You haven't called me, emailed me, all my information's on it, so I get what that means. When you ask somebody to, help you do something, and you don't get any kind of reply, I absolutely understand what it means. What I'm asking you to do is the same thing the city made me do. I didn't own the wall. I fought for years and said it's not my wall, not on my property. Tungeon ordered codes, fire department, everybody came to my house. They're gonna tear it down, put it on my tax bills, and just leave it. I don't know if they're gonna build it or not. But I didn't want that because my yard is a double lot, the house next to me is torn down, so I got a nice spot, So I said, I'll do the wall, so you don't put it on my taxes, so I tore this wall down. I paid to get rid of all this creosote soap, hazardous waste material. I dug, I bought a tractor because I hurt my shoulder with all these logs. I'm still to this day wounded, but I built that wall. I paid for all that products. I paid for the French drain that was never there. Installed the French drain so the water ran out to the wall and wouldn't push it over again. I did all these things, and then 2 years later, the city said, oops, we made a mistake. Our wall.
Kenneth, when was that? What year?
I don't know the year offhand.
How many years?
Probably 5 years ago, I got done with it. 5 to 6 years, I got done with it. I have all the paperwork. I have the paperwork from the city telling me it's my wall. Take it down or they'll put it on my tax bill. And I have a letter with the man you hired after Russ Reed saying, oops, we made mistakes on my property, it's on city property. So then they took the wall. Where's my stuff? I went to the police station, I filed a police report for stolen property. And I believe it's stolen because Russ Reed came there and he said, my wall is a very steep situation, I'm taking it down. Before they said, oops. So Russ Reed took the wall, but there's no paperwork. I looked up the charter. It says that Russ Reed can't declare something that's dangerous, take it down, unless he has the fire department or some other entity has to sign off with it. Where's that paperwork? I've been to every department in this place asking for that paperwork. It ain't there. I shouldn't have to go and thank FBI. It's been so many years, the mayor don't talk to me, he just runs away. I've been in his office hundreds of times. And he runs away. The last time I went to his office, and I ring the little bell, he says something's out, and he says, tell Ken that issue is settled. How is that possible? Who settled with me? Well, you tore the wall out, took my stuff, and it's just settled. I paid a lot of money to build that wall. It took me all summer, all right? hiring helpers, buying logs, buying rock, I bought every screw, every rebar, I did all that. Where's my stuff? You can't take my stuff, it's not legal, because then it's dead. But no one wants to look into this, no one's trying to help me. This is what I would like the city to do with all of you. I've been here so many times, it gets stressful, and I'm trying not to cry, because I get so upset. My daughter's gonna inherit this house. Right, my young, I just took her to college. I'm not gonna laugh too much longer, because, you know, I got a lot of things wrong. My daughter shouldn't have to come here and fight for what happened in my lifetime. I'm asking y'all to do the right thing. Absolute positive, the city made it with the wall, they came and took the wall, said it was theirs. How can I wanna be whole? I want my money, I want a wall. Right now, I go out my yard, and every time it rains, I get a fault line, is what I call it. They put brick rocks or whatever they want to call these rocks on the hill to hold the hill. Every time it rains, you get a crack at the top of the rocks.
Did the city put the rocks?
Yes, ma'am.
Who
And they
did
took
that?
8 foot of my yard,
Who did that?
Russ Reeve and the boys. When the city put these brick rocks on, they took the wall down, they dragged the wall on an angle because I'm on a hill. Then they pushed these rocks and said the rocks are gonna hold the wall or the hill. I stopped jumping on the sidewalk because the rocks fall down. I've eaten up 2 snow blowers. Going down the sidewalk, so if they send me a ticket, I just go to court. I don't work for the city, if I'm picking rocks up. The city code guy gives me, he says, I don't wanna write you up, Ken, but I'm telling you, you got a shovel. You're not doing it. So send me a ticket, do what you gotta do. I don't work for the city, I should have to pick that rocks up that are lying down on the sidewalk now. They're a hazard. If you drive by, shoot at trees that are trees now. These are weeds. If it's the city's property, take care of your property. They moved this 8 foot into my yard. I lost 8 foot in my side yard. Every time it rains, I lose another couple inches. Pretty soon it's gonna be at my house. I can't get a 6-foot wall or fence because how do I put it up? I dig posts and it's just gonna fall down the hill. I shouldn't have to maintain the hill, I shouldn't have to clean it. I can't even cut the trees on my yard because if you step in the rock, you're gonna break your ankle. Try to climb up there. They just slide on one another and move, you're gonna hurt yourself. I'm gonna sue myself. If I cut the tree, I didn't put this stuff here. I'm asking the city, I'm asking you, please, do some resolution and make the city build a wall. I want my yard, I don't let my grandkids in there, I don't have a swimming pool like Lottie is, right? I can't put up a fence and have a swimming pool because of the way the condition they left my property. But my daughter should have to come here and have this conversation with you. And I'm almost at the end of my rope. I'm a very intelligent guy. I'm trying to figure out a solution. My solution is that every one of you, even if you're not my representative, can help the people of Troy. That's my belief. And you came here because you wanted to make it better. So I'm asking you for your voice. I don't even know you. I don't know you. I don't know. But if you honestly came and were a politician and you wanted to fix stuff, it needs fixing. And I'm asking for your help. Thank you for going. You got my vote, love, so.
Thank you. Thank you. Court counsel said, no, I know. Next, would anyone like to speak? I have Monica and Ray. Hi there, sir.
So, first, I'll back to follow. Thank you for all that you guys do.
Oh, your name, I apologize then.
Joe Halloran.
Hi, Joe.
This is
Do you live in Troy?
this is about 624 River Street. I recently moved from there. River and Rensselaer are on the corner.
Yep.
And you guys, I don't know who you guys, whatever, the street, fantastic job. Fix the alley.
Yep.
Marvelous job. It looks fantastic. My
Well,
only
that's
complaint is you raised the road a little too high and the water now pours down the hill. And storms that people talk about, the heavy rains, not on a sprinkle day, but on that 1 inch per hour kind of rate. And it comes right into my garage, right into the basement of the house. And
When did this start, Joe?
it started as soon as the road was applied.
Okay,
The Randy Road-
approximate
A month ago.
a month.
Yeah, a month. But this is not, it hasn't destroyed my house yet. It will.
Have you contacted anyone before tonight?
Well, this young man before me, perfect example, okay? Another thing, code enforcement, they don't always get it right, okay? So. This is a perfect example, I came down to the building department, went through code enforcement, talked to the guy who's in charge of the sidewalks being changed, the handicap accessible stuff being done. And I just couldn't seem to get anywhere, that's why I'm here, because I'm asking for help.
Yeah.
Everybody pointed the finger at the other guy, and they all said,
Has
it was
anyone,
actually my problem, is what they told.
Joe, anyone been to your house to check it out or no?
No, I
Okay,
have tried to meet you.
okay. We'll have someone come by, and Joe, what's your address? You could give to Maria or Sam, okay?
There's
All
a
right.
couple cones, and, I actually found it 2x4, just behind the old, curving,
You're
the
kidding.
water
Okay,
running in.
we're gonna have someone follow up. Councilmember Gully.
Joe, is this the water coming downhill? You mentioned the handicap curve. This is not on the river.
There was any problems, the handicap curve was corrected on, North First Street.
Yeah.
The water would come up over the curb, you know, the
Oh, I get it.
accessible part, bring it right down.
Oh,
And it washed out the old, it was like a slate sidewalk. So over time, you know, car parks too close to it, chips off pieces. It's been there for 100 years, so. If it's my problem, then I will correct it, I guess.
but it didn't
But that brings
start.
on another problem,
Yeah,
okay?
I get
I don't have a good report with code enforcement. They've driven a wedge in between me and doing the right thing.
Joe, we're gonna follow up. Could you give your number to Maria or Seamus also, and we'll have someone follow up, okay?
Yeah, sure will.
Joe, so sorry, and we'll have someone.
Sorry, I would appreciate it if you help
Yep,
correct it before the problem.
yeah, I hear you, before it gets worse. Yep, we got you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming down. Would anyone else like to speak on any item on the agenda? Or, I'm sorry, it's the same thing in general, I'm so sorry.
When it rains. Down.
Thank you, Marion.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
First, let me start off, we're talking about the fire department, since we just commended Chief McMahon. And before he left today, I shook hands and thanked him very much for what he did for us at Harbor Point Gardens, for what they tried to do for us in the void that was left by code enforcement and the executive branch of this city, letting us down and abdicating their responsibilities. For example, one day we had a gas leak and code enforcement had no clue what to do. Again, that's Jesse Odansky I'm talking about. He's like, what should we do? He asked me. Call the fire department? I said, absolutely. The fire department came, and you know that within, I would say, less than 4 minutes, there was an entire battalion of fire department personnel on the property. But it gets even better, because not only did they handle this gas leak and properly call National Grid Emergency Response Team, who did the right thing, they evacuated the building and declared it unfit, and we had a bit of an ironic joke in that that building had already and was at the time declared unfit. And I said, what are you gonna do, post the building unfit? And he said, yeah, we're gonna have to do it. I said, look outside, there's already a sign. So what's a little bit of morbid humor for you? They actually did put up a second sign, and the building was, I'm talking about building 142, was declared unfit for the second time. But there was nobody living in the building, so there was nobody to evacuate that time. So at that point, I said, you know, we have a lot of problems with toxic fumes leaking out of the boiler rooms because of improper HVAC installation systems. And the fire department guy said, hey, aren't you Eric Spinner? I've seen you speak at the council meetings. Sure, let's take a look. And they came with me and they came downstairs and they verified that we had horrific conditions in our boiler rooms, including gaping holes, as I said before, insecure HVAC system, among other problems. And they said, well, what is code enforcement doing about this? And I said, nothing. They refused, and this is even before Rick Morrissey instituted a no further inspection order for Harbor Point Gardens. They refused to examine the boiler rooms. So he was a little, the battalion chief was a little incredulous. He said, really? I said, yeah. He goes, well, when's the last time you spoke to code enforcement? I said, about 2 minutes ago. He goes, really? I go, yeah, he's standing about 40 yards behind you. That's Jesse Odansky from code enforcement. He goes, really? Wait over here. And he walked over and had a conversation I wasn't privy to with Mr. Odansky. And they both proceeded to walk towards me. And the private battalion chief said to me, tell him what you just told me. And what I just told you is what I told him. And you know what Mr. Odansky's response was? Oh, you mean that's not one of the things that I looked at? Okay, so we've got a situation here where I heard some mumble jumble at the last council meeting when one of you folks up here asked Dave Sheeran or Rick Morrissey, one of these other great trusts that we have running our city. Has anybody tried to recoup any of this money from the Harbor Point Gardens landlord or corporations that pretend to be the landlord? And his response was a mumble jumble joke of almost inaudible junk. Well, let me tell you that there's a million things we can do, not literally. There are state laws, there are local ordinances that provide avenues to respond in these kind of situations. They're on the books. For example, Article 13 of the Real Property and Proceedings Law provides that these buildings can be levied, they can be liened, you can bring a plenary action in Supreme Court against these people who owe this kind of money. I'm not just talking about Harbor Point Gardens. We have an immense problem in this city with not being able to get this money. I assure you that if this city council or the next mayor enforces the law, you will not have to raise taxes in the next 8 years that you're mayor, because the funds will flow in one way or another. Now, I always like talking about some of the other cities, and it gives me no happiness to have to say that code enforcement or this city needs to learn from other places. And last time I was here, I had referred to a 162-page report by the Senate. Well, let me tonight refer to a white paper issued by the city of Buffalo. And in that white paper, they discussed the vacancy list, the vacancy registry, because all major cities have this. But they go, it's pretty far reaching in only a few pages. They discuss countrywide what's going on with this. And they said, with regard to a vacancy registry list, they said, and let me quote this, a registry of this sort could be a very cost-effective, because owners would register this property on a website and the public could search the registry. And what happens there, because they recommend, and several cities have this, is that the municipality, us, you, this council, and the next mayor can institute a law that provides that if the landlord has this property on the registry, they don't submit a plan, they don't submit a rehab plan or a demolishment plan. any member of the public can petition to take over the property and get clean title to it. Now, I'm not a communist. I'm not a socialist. I believe in the capital system, and I defend private property rights. But that also means defending the property rights of the people that live next to these eyesores or worse, dangerous habitat conditions. And we need to do something about that, because this isn't going to get any better. It's only going to get exponentially worse each day. And the next mayor is going to face an enormous problem with the amount of buildings that are already decaying and are going to continue to decay. One reason you guys don't know about it is because they, on this side of City Hall, have been keeping this out of the public eye. You walk any street in this city for any amount of time, and you're about to come up with your own list of buildings that are about to fall down. Some of you folks on the council have walked the streets with me and seen what I'm talking about. So that's why it's so important. So in Rochester, well, let me say this. I put a FOIL request in. And so did some of my people, for the landlord registry, the vacancy registry list in this city. In Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, Utica, I could go on. It's all public. You can go online and see it. Here, you have to put a FOIL request. Guess what my FOIL request came back in from our great city attorney? He wrote back, "We cannot provide this information to you because it would threaten the life and safety of individuals." Whose life and safety is he talking about? The executive branch, by exposing what's been going on? Because it would save lives. So, am I going to move forward? No, because I'm waiting for the next mayor to take over. Because go through the appeal process, we can rather wait for a new administration. So why do I bring that up? Because let's take a look at Rochester. Rochester probably has the most advanced system on this. They have an interactive site of all the buildings that are on the vacancy list that you can actually go to, click on the property, and you get a side list that comes up with the violations, the violation status, any court fees, anything that's been paid, the history of the property, the owner, and everything else you need. To put forward a system like this is rather simple. And it's amazing that with the conditions we have, Troy doesn't have such a system. Now, why would that be? All right, we'll leave that question up to be decided. But can you play the video, please? There's two videos on there named Sheeran. There's two videos labeled Sheeran.
I just want to know then, so add it to the, yep. What about the fact that they have not legitimately registered according to the land registry statute out of your office? We can't get it. I just want to know then, so add it to the land registry? Yes. What about the fact that they have not legitimately registered according to the land registry statute out of your office? We can't get it.
What you're about to see was recorded on June the 13th of 2023 in a conversation that I had with the illegal acting so-called director of Troy Code Enforcement. The topic and discussion was the landlord registry statement. Had this registry statement been filed in a timely fashion, the city would have contact information for everyone at Harbor Point Gardens.
Registered according to the land registry statute out of your office. We can't get it, my lawyer can't get it because they tell me they
The
don't have
landlord
one.
registry?
Yes,
Do you know how many people do the landlord registry?
No,
That
I'm
has been in
registered
8
according to
years
the
ago.
land registry statute out of your
And it
office.
doesn't
We
work.
can't get it, my lawyer can't get it because they tell me they
The
don't have
landlord
one.
registry?
Yes,
Do you know how many people do the landlord registry?
no, I'm
That has been in
registered
8
according
years
to the
ago.
land registry statute out of your
And it
office.
doesn't
We
work.
can't get it, my lawyer can't get it because they tell me they
The
don't have
landlord
one.
registry?
Yes,
Do you know how many people do the landlord registry?
no, I'm
That has been in
registered
8 years.
Councilmember Going.
Mr. Spinner, if you could please explain those conversations, because it was very difficult to hear the point of those two conversations, just because of the.
Yeah, so let's fix that. Let's fix that because it's basically very simple. You give me that computer, I'll have to play for you in the live volume and you'll hear every word. I've shown that I played this video to the media, I played this video to the tenants, I played this to everyone who wants to hear it, including Assemblyman McDonald. They had no problem. It came off the same flash drive. I didn't say you could hear it. I said it was being played. It's not being played forever. You hear two videos on at the same time. That's what's going on. Maybe someone else can take it and slap it in.
Yeah, you do what you want. I muted, well, no, I unmuted this to see if that can help.
Still is just playing it through to us that people that was in our head. Yes, yes, the people that are listening from home. You're hearing them.
Eric, make it for you. Eric,
Can you fix it? Oh, the only way to do it is you stop the count.
Eric, how about you summarize, the video for us?
Can you play the other video?
No.
Gonna do the same thing.
It's the system.
They would have to cut the whole entire.
Right.
Or the whole entire meeting.
Yeah, and we have to stay public. What is your? Maybe.
Okay.
Give us the general.
All right.
All right, so I asked him about the landlord registry statement, and he said, oh, you mean the document that will provide the names of everybody in here? Now, remember, this is prior to us being thrown out. And he said, now, I'm gonna give you his quote. You would have loved to hear it. We'll get this video to you in a more effective fashion. He said, that video was created by 7 assholes who don't know how to run the city. And you know who he was talking about, right? Council member 1, council member 2, council member 3, council member 4, council member 5, council member 6, council member 7. Not you folks, because it was created in 2013, and the mayor, he added an 8 assholes. And they don't know how to run the city. The second video depicts Mr. Sheeran telling me that he has no time to go through the entire housing complex and levy violations for, in his words, every little hole you see. And I will point out that in a 2-week period of time, those little holes that he didn't want to look at were missing bricks, falling bricks, or voids in the wall that in less than 20 days, 135 people and 42 cats and dogs would be made homeless on. He proceeded to say, I have people who have no water, I have people who have been burnt out, I have bigger problems. Well, guess what? We became his biggest problem ever. And it wasn't just on that day that he refused to look at those holes. He refused to look at them for 23 years. And that's why what happened. And that's why we're in such a situation that we are in today. We have high hopes that a new administration will fix this. But no matter who becomes mayor, there is a cancerous rot in the city government. I would propose that until the new mayor could get a handle on this, that the city appoint a new position, either a city inspector general or a city public advocate, who will deal with these kind of problems that you hear come before you all the time. This guy's property being quote unquote stolen, this other person that came before you today that happens on a regular basis here. And those are the people who are brave enough to come forward here and speak before you. And there aren't too many people out of the proportion of people that have these problems. There are many cities that have this position, some elected, some appointed. In New York City, the public advocate is elected. In other cities, the mayor appoints that person. The same is true with the inspector general. That person is either appointed or elected in certain cities, but at least they have one. So let me say this in closing. I know that the people of this city are yearning for change. Over the last little while, I have met with literally thousands of tenants, landowners, homeowners, and business people. And they want change, and they want it now. And if we can assure that in 5 days, we get a free and fair election, I am confident that a new era will dawn on the city of Troy. And that new mayor will institute policies that will bring about an improvement in the quality of life, not just for the people that surround her and support her, but for all the citizens of Troy. We so hope. And I support Carmela Montello for mayor.
All right, would anyone else like to speak on anything happening in your neighborhood, happening on your street? Okay, we're going to close the public forum. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Motion, Councilmember Gully, second, Councilmember Conley Wilson, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.